Joining us now, MSNBC senior White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard, Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and MSNBC political analyst, and MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin. So, Vaughn, is the Trump administration's deployment of the National Guard a response to a problem, or is it creating one? I guess that's really what's at the heart of this, isn't it?
Right, and it's exactly what is at the heart of these legal proceedings in the Trump-appointed judges' rulings over the weekend, pushing back against the National Guard being able to be deployed to Oregon, stating effectively that the characterization that the president has portrayed of Portland burning is not an accurate one. And if you look at what the Portland police chief in an op-ed posted just in the last 24 hours said very explicitly, unfortunately, national portrayals often distort reality. Portland is 145 square miles, yet one city block has drawn outsized attention in news cycles. Viral clips, sometimes months or years old, paint a picture that is not consistent with the Portland we see every day. Just because officers are not seen wearing tactical gear lining up before crowds does not mean we are not responding, referring to the Portland Police Department. Again, this is part of the standoff as local and state officials in Oregon and in Chicago and Illinois argue that local law enforcement can effectively handle what is being alleged by the Trump administration to be acts intending to stop the federal law enforcement efforts of ICE officials. And so this really gets at the heart of what is a juxtaposition here, in which we saw in just the last hour a group of journalists in Chicago file a lawsuit making the case that the Department of Homeland Security is also interfering in their First Amendment abilities to effectively cover what is taking place here in Chicago. And so to the heart of your question here is what we are seeing being heavily pushed back and scrutinized is what is the long-term plan of this White House and of this Pentagon, as J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, has suggested that they are using the idea that there are riots and buildings burning to justify long-term military status inside of these cities. We should note here in Washington, D.C., the National Guard members, they remain in the streets of Washington. This is a question of just how long they will exist here, and that is where you see in other cities that question being posed here as litigation is filed, and these lawsuits are filed to stop National Guard from making their way into their cities.
Well, one thing we can say for sure, Lisa, that judge did not mince words. She was grilling the attorney for the federal government, saying things like, aren't defendants simply circumventing my order? Why is this appropriate? So talk about where this goes next, and then you have another court challenge here from journalists.
Well, in terms of the Portland challenges, at this point, Judge Karen Immergut has entered 2 consecutive temporary restraining orders. The first about the use of the Oregon National Guard in Oregon, the second about any National Guard in Oregon. And I expect that the Trump administration will appeal that second ruling as well. They already have a pending motion to stay her first order at the Ninth Circuit. That's the U.S. Court of Appeals, that intermediate level of the court. That court has done nothing yet. It has not scheduled a hearing. And so we are furiously, if you see me looking down on my phone, furiously updating to see if the Trump administration is going to get relief. In the meantime, in Chicago, Vaughn was alluding to a class action that was filed earlier today by protesters who have said that what is really aggravating the situation on the ground is the way that ICE and the CBP officers are acting. A judge who has been assigned that case, Sarah Ellis, has scheduled a TRO hearing of her own. That's for a temporary restraining order at 2:30 p.m. Central Time today. So we may know more about how ICE and Customs and Border Patrol is allowed to operate on the ground with respect to protests by sometime this afternoon or evening.
All right. So, Eugene, when you look at the pictures, the president says it's a war zone. And when you see the deployment of troops, it can look like that, right? He says Portland is burning to the ground. The AP points out local officials have pointed out that the protest occupies one city block far from downtown in a city that covers 145 square miles. Portland's police chief in an op-ed wrote, national portrayals of Portland distort from reality. And here's what residents say.
This is not war-torn. This is Portland.
We don't need help. We got it under control. Take a look.
The thing that's harming us is the escalation tactics that Trump's trying to use to create a narrative that, you know, Portland is this boogeyman that requires further militarization, and we just don't.
I'm hopeful that the courts, and I'm hopeful that ultimately common sense prevails, and we continue to be peaceful and not allow these things to happen in our cities and states.
And Eugene, look, officials are arguing the only time it looks like a war zone is when tear gas and smoke bombs are used against peaceful protests. So what does the administration get out of this?
Well, they think they get, I guess, riling up the MAGA base. Look, Gavin Newsom said today that we're on the brink of martial law. I hope he's exaggerating there, but I do think it's an important moment. Portland obviously is not burning to the ground. It's not burning at all. It's just not happening. The president is lying when he says that is happening and uses it as justification for trying to mobilize the National Guard. And what he seems to be trying to do is suppress protest, which you can't do in this country. Every one of us has the right to protest. That's free speech. That is fundamental to the most basic idea of this country. And yet he is waging a war against that. Yeah, people in Portland, it's not a city that voted for him, and people come out and protest actions that he's taking, including the ICE raids. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way this country works.
So, there are a lot of important legal questions, to your point, Eugene, constitutional questions. But there's also a political one, given that the two governors that we're talking about both have been talked about as possible presidential candidates, right, in 2028. Oh, yeah. Look, in looking tough or making it seem like they're tough, Trump has made it clear he wants a tough response to cities that he believes are crime-ridden, in spite of what the statistics may show. Is it possible, though, that what he's actually doing is setting up some potential challengers that he won't have to run against for president because he can't?
Yeah, I guess he is. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that he has gone after the states that are led by Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker, who are seen as two possible Democratic presidential candidates in 2028. No, he won't have to run against them. He is usually so self-interested in terms of politics. Maybe this is a case of him trying to ensure the future of MAGA after him, and to sort of insulate it against the likes of Newsom or Pritzker. But no, I don't think that's an accident. There's always a political element to the motive, and look, from the other side, Pritzker and Newsom both get to sort of raise their profiles by
and look tough themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly, with their tough responses. And that's what a lot of Democrats have wanted. The Democratic base has been clamoring for a tougher response to what President Trump has done over these months. And Newsom and Pritzker are giving it to them.
Real quickly, so I out of the corner of my eye, I can see you continuing to refresh. Anything yet? When might we hear whether or not it's the appellate court, right, that will make a decision here?
Any day, any time now, they could tell us whether they're going to grant a stay of that lower court's order, which would effectively allow President Trump to send in National Guard troops to Portland. We haven't heard yet, and I'll continue to monitor it today, Chris.
Vaughn Hilliard, Eugene Robinson, Lisa Rubin, thank you all.